Welcome back, students. So in the last session we have discussed about electrochemistry, and in electrochemistry we were discussing about the molar conductivity and molar conductance. Okay, so after that the next topic is what is the variation of molar conductivity which is related to the concentration for strong and weak electrolytes. The variation of molar conductivity and concentration for strong and weak electrolytes. Okay, we have to first see this particular topic, then we will move out to the next topic, that is the called. So what type of variation we are going to see? So first variation which we are going to observe here is that the variation of molar conductivity, the variation of molar conductivity with concentration for strong electrolytes. We are considering first for the, if we are changing the concentration for your strong electrolytes, then what will be the change there will be seen in the molar conductivity. Okay, so for understanding this particular topic, let's make a diagram. Okay, I am plotting a graph here. Okay, and in this graph the y-axis will be representing, it will be representing the molar conductance, and the x-axis will be representing the concentration of the strong electrolyte here. Okay, so if let us say I have taken KCl, that is potassium chloride, as my electrolyte here. Okay, and it is having, presently it is having a concentration of C1. The value for concentration for here is C1, which is high concentration here. Okay, and as I am decreasing the concentration here, okay, and how I can decrease the concentration here of the KCl? By adding more solvent there. Okay, electrolyte are what? They are the solutes which are dissolved in the solvents. Okay, so here I am increasing the solvent there, and due to increase in the solvent, what will happen? The concentration of KCl there will start to decrease. So on decreasing the concentration slowly, I will observe that the conductance, the molar conductance is increasing. I will see that for every change in the value of concentration, there will be a gradual increase in the molar conductivity of the solution. Okay, and a time will reach out there where I will find out that now the molar conductance cannot be increased furthermore. Okay, now we cannot increase furthermore here, because here you can see that we have reached out the final point in our y-axis where the value of concentration has become 0 here, and at 0 we will call it as the infinite concentration. Okay, it will be termed as infinite concentration or infinite dilution. Okay, it will be termed as infinite dilution. So at this point you will see that it will reach its highest point. It will reach its highest point, that is the highest value for the molar conductivity. Okay, similarly we can take an example for HCl also. So for HCl, if the concentration was C1 first, then on making it C2, C3, C4, and at last you will see that at a point it will get attached to the y-axis here. So this is the molar concentration increasing graph for your straight line which is being plotted for HCl, which is also a strong electrolyte. Okay, so this particular variation is been seen in case of strong electrolytes. Okay, in case of strong electrolytes we will see this particular kind of behavior. Here the limiting value of molar concentration is been obtained when infinite dilution is been obtained out here. Okay, when we are going to see infinite dilution for the strong electrolytes. And what is infinite dilution? When the value of the concentration or we can say that when the value of the ions of the given strong electrolytes are reached to their concentration as zero. Okay, have reached to their concentration as zero. So this was the variation of molar conductivity for strong electrolytes. Let's see the variation of molar conductivity for molar conductivity for weak electrolytes. Weak electrolytes. So for this, if I am going to plot a graph here, I am representing the molar conductance in y-axis and concentration in x-axis. So here, if I am taking an example of the weak electrolyte such as CH3COOH, okay, CH3COOH. So the molar conductivity of CH3COOH, that is acetic acid, is very very low when it is having very high concentration. Okay, because we know that as it is a very weak electrolyte, so here the dissociation, that is the ionization of the dissociation of acetate ion and H plus ion, here it will be very low. The dissociation constant or the dissociation rate here, it will be very low when higher concentration of acetic acid is present. But as I am going to decrease this concentration, as gradually if I am going to decrease this concentration, as like in the case of strong electrolyte only, we will see that the molar conductivity will start to increase. Okay, the molar conductivity will start to increase. But here a change here, it will be that here no limiting value will be found out here. Okay, no limiting value will be found out here. Erstwhile we will find that on making the concentration on making the infinite dilution for acetic acid here, we will find that the curve which has been found out here, it is been becoming parallel to the y-axis. It is becoming more parallel to y-axis and it is not intersecting with it. So here it is very hard to find the highest molar conductivity or the molar conductivity at infinite solution. Okay, molar conductivity at infinite dilution for the weak electrolytes, it is very hard to find. So for this particular process, for the finding of this molar conductivity at infinite dilution or molar conductivity at the condition where the concentration of CH3COH or acetic acid or the weak electrolytes will become zero, at that particular point the molar conductivity can be found out by the Colrosh law. Okay, it can be found out by Colrosh law. So now let's talk about this Colrosh law. So the Colrosh law, how it is being emerged out? Let's see first this thing. what is Colross law. So if I am taking an example here for KCl, let's say we are taking example for KCl. So the limiting value, okay, for strong electrolyte, which is KCl is a strong electrolyte. So the molar conductivity, okay, at infinite dilution for KCl, it is been calculated experimentally as 149.9, okay, 149.9 ohm inverse centimeter square mole inverse. And for NaCl, okay, here we are seeing that both the electrolytes are having here common anion. Only the cations is being changed out here, that is K and Na. So here the value is 126.5. If I am obtaining a difference here, the value will become 23.4. Similarly, taking another example here, the infinite molar concentration, okay, for KNO3 and infinite molar concentration for NaNO3 is 145 and 121. Again, the value, okay, if I am taking the proper value here, then it will come out to be 23.4. Okay, so like this, one more example can be taken for KBr, potassium bromide, and sodium bromide. Here the values are 151.9, 128.5. So here the value will become 23. So what is common here? You will see that the difference between here, if I am considering that for different electrolytes or for common cations or for common anions of K plus and Na plus here, K plus and Na plus here for common anions, okay, for common anions K plus and Na plus here, the difference between their molar concentration, molar conductance is always equal to 23.4 only. Okay, so here we can say that the infinite the infinite conductance for K plus minus infinite concentration for Na plus will always be is equals to 23.4 only. Okay, so this particular conclusion is been obtained out here. So what is been concluded after this particular value? What is been concluded out here? And similarly, if I am considering for 149.9 minus 145, here the value will come. Here the value will come. It means that I am talking about KCl, the molar concentration, infinite molar concentration for KCl and KNO3. Here the difference will become 149.9 and 145.0. The difference will become 4.9. Similarly for NaCl and for NaNO3, it is 126.5 and 121.6. It will become 4.9 again. Okay, so here this kind of observation is concluding us that there is concluded that the so as per we can conclude that on this particular observations here, that the Colross has found out that the molar conductivity is depending on the dilution here of individual ions there, okay, on the individual ions there. So according to this, he has stated that the Colross law statement is that at infinite dilution when the dissociation is complete. Okay, at infinite dilution when the dissociation is complete, each ion makes a each ions makes a definite contribution contribution towards molar conductivity. Molar conductivity of the electrolyte irrespective of the nature of other ion with which it is associated. It is associated. Okay. So hence this was the statement which was proposed by Colrosh for after being observing the above observations. Okay. So what is this means? This means that the molar conductivity, what does it means? It means that the molar conductivity at infinite dilution, at infinite dilution for a given salt can be expressed as the sum of the individual ions individual contribution individual contribution from the ions of electrolyte from the ions of electrolyte. Okay, so according to this we can make an expression here for Colrosh law, that is the molar concentration at infinite dilution, it will be is equals to number of positive ions multiplied by the molar concentrations contribution for positive ions. Okay, molar concentration for positive ions plus number of negative ions to the molar concentration for negative ions. Okay, so by using this particular relation we can easily calculate the sorry molar concentration for a weak or strong electrolyte in infinite dilution case. Okay. So now let's see what are the different applications of Colrosh law. Okay, what are the different applications for Colrosh law? Colrosh law. Number one, we can calculate the molar concentration calculation for molar conductance at infinite dilution for weak electrolytes, which was very difficult by calculating it by the conventional way. If we are about to calculate, so it was very hard because it was not available there. All the graph which were found out there, it was reaching to infinite there. But by using this particular formula for Colrausch law, we can easily calculate the molar conductance here. Okay, for weak electrolytes also. Second application is there. We can calculate for calculation of degree of dissociation of weak electrolyte. Degree of dissociation of weak electrolyte. Third, calculation for dissociation constant of weak electrolyte. So if I am talking about degree of dissociation, it means I can calculate alpha here. And if I am talking about the dissociation constant, that is, we are talking about the K. Okay, K, the dissociation constant here. Okay, it can also be calculated by using this Colrausch law. And the fourth and the final application here is that for the calculation of solubility of sparingly soluble salts. Sparingly soluble salts can also be easily calculated. Okay, so these are the different calculation ways by which we can use it. So what are the formulas here? Let's see for the different calculations. So for first, that is the calculation of molar conductance for weak electrolyte at infinite dilution. Finite dilution. We can calculate here it like this: lambda naught CH3COOH. We have taken acetic acid as our weak electrolyte here, and for that, if I am going to calculate the molar conductance here, then it will be is equals to lambda naught CH3COO minus ion plus lambda naught H plus ion. Okay, so this will give the molar conductivity here for our given electrolyte. Next, for calculation of degree of dissociation, what will be the formula? Degree of dissociation of weak electrolyte. How we can calculate this degree of dissociation? So it can be calculated by using the formula alpha is equals to molar concentration, molar conductance of solution at any concentration divided by molar concentration of solution at infinite concentration. Okay, by using this formula, we can easily calculate the value for the degree of dissociation here, where lambda C is equals to molar conductance of weak electrolyte at any concentration, and lambda naught is equals to molar conductance at of weak electrolyte at infinite dilution. Infinite dilution. Okay. Next is third, calculation of dissociation constant of dissociation constant for weak electrolytes. Okay, it means here we are going to calculate the dissociation constant, that is K. So for K, the formula which we have studied in class 11th, it was like this. You all must have a small remembrance about these particular values. Okay, so here we have calculated alpha as lambda c upon lambda naught. Okay, so putting that value here, we will get that c lambda c lambda naught, molar concentration at any concentration divided by molar concentration at infinite concentration, infinite dilution. Okay, so the value will become like this. So on solving it more, we will get the value like this, and here lambda naught minus lambda c divided by lambda naught. So this lambda naught and one lambda naught will get cancelled out here. So the formula will become lambda c square divided by lambda naught divided by lambda naught minus lambda c. Okay, this will become the formula. Next, the last formula which we are going to use here is, or which is based on Kohlrausch law, is calculation of solubility of weak electrolytes, sparingly soluble salt, sparingly soluble salts. Okay, so here the value will become, as we know that the value for molar concentration, the formula for molar concentration is kappa into 1000 divided by molarity. This was the formula here. Okay, or we can also write it like this, kappa into 1000, and I am replacing molarity here by solubility, because solubility is nothing other than the molarity only. Okay, so here we can find out solubility by cross multiplying, and the value will become kappa into 1000 divided by the molar concentration at infinite condition. And we know that the molar concentration is been calculated from the formula plus n plus n minus lambda naught minus. Okay, so by picking out the value from here, we can easily calculate the value of solubility also. Okay, so these are the different applications of Kohlrausch law. So let's have some questions for the Kohlrausch law. So the first question here is asking the molar conductivity at infinite dilution for sodium acetate HCl and sodium chloride are 91.0, 425.9 and 126.4 ohm inverse Siemann centimeter square mole inverse. respectively at 298 Kelvin. Calculate the molar conductivity of acetic acid at dilute solution at infinite dilution. Infinite dilution, we have to calculate this particular value. Okay, so how we are going to solve this question? Let's start. So here, what are the given values here? So the given values here is that we have to find what we have to calculate here. First, we have to calculate here the molar conductance of acetic acid. Okay, so it will become H plus ion plus lambda naught for CH3 COO minus. And here number will be 1 and 1 only, okay, because one I have H plus ion will be released out from one molecule of CH3 COOH, that is acetic acid. Okay, next, on moving further here, we will see that here the molar concentration of acetic acid will, it will depend on whom? It will depend on whom? So it will depend on, I think so, we can say that it will depend on lambda naught CS3 COO minus, and it can also be said that it will depend on Na plus, it can also be dependent on H plus, it can also be dependent on lambda Cl minus, lambda naught, one more Na plus which has been taken from lambda naught Cl minus, okay, NaCl, HCl, and this is for your sodium acetate. Okay, if I am subtracting these values here, okay, subtracting these values here, okay, here it will be plus plus, and I have to remove here what? I have to remove here this Na and Cl, we have to eliminate here, then only what will remain out here? This acetate ion and this H plus ion will be remain out here. Okay, so here after putting this value we can see that the same formula for the Colruy's law, according to Colruy's law, has been found out here. Okay, so now putting the values here which has been given in the question. So here it is given that CH3 COOH is equals to, we can write it like that, CH3 COONA plus HCl minus NaCl's molar concentration. Molar concentration of acetic acid, sodium acetate plus molar concentration of hydrochloric acid minus molar concentration of sodium chloride. It will give me the value for the molar concentration of acetic acid. Okay, so here on putting the values, 91.0, okay, 91.0 plus 425.9 minus 126.4. So on calculating here, on solving this question, we will get the answer as 390.5 Siemens centimeter square mole inverse. Okay, so this is the molar concentration for the acetic acid which was required out here. So like this only different types of questions can be found out. Okay, let's this was the first type of question. Let's see one more type of question which can be asked out from this particular topic. The molar conductance of ammonium hydroxide at concentration of 0.1 molar and 0.001 molar are 3.6 and 34.0 Siemens centimeter square per mole respectively. Calculate the degree of dissociation. Calculate the degree of dissociation of ammonium hydroxide at this concentration. At this concentration. Here, the value of molar concentration for NH4OH is given as NH4OH is given in the question as 271.1 Siemens centimeter square mole inverse. Okay, so let's solve this type of question also. Here we have to calculate the degree of dissociation, means we have to find out the value of alpha. So first we have to find out the concentration here. So what is the concentration? Two concentrations are given. One is 0.1. Then the molar concentration is 3.6. And at this particular point also, for the infinite dilution, the NH4 plus NH4OH values molar conductance is 271.1. So at this particular point, the value of the degree of dissociation will be equals to 3.6 divided by 271.1. Okay, so 36 divided by 2711. So the answer will become 0.013. Okay, this will become the answer. On solving, you will get the answer as 0.013. On moving further, now for concentration 0.001 molar, the molar conductance was given as 34.0. Okay, and the molar concentration for NH4OH at infinite dilution is given as 271.1. So here the alpha will become 34 divided by 271.1. So it will become 340 divided by 2711. So the answer will become 0.125, 0.125. So if I am saying for the previous one, for here if I am saying that what is the percentage here, so the percentage will become 1.3%. The percentage of dissociation will be 1.3% dissociation when the concentration was 0.1 molar. Okay, when the concentration was 0.1 molar. And when the concentration is taken as 0.001 molar, then here the percentage is 12.5 percentage dissociation. Okay, so you can see that on increasing the dilution, the dissociation is higher, and hence the higher is the value of the molar conductance. So students, these were the different types of questions which can be asked from the topic Colross law. And what is the application of Colross law? All these things I have discussed here. So we will continue the next topic related to this chapter, that is the normalized equation, in the next class. So thank you for watching this video. We will meet further in the next class. Thank you.